Good day, class. Today we're going to discuss our AutoCAD 2D interfaces. On how we execute AutoCAD commands. So we have three ways in using the AutoCAD commands. So we have the menu bar. So this bar. So as I've discussed in the previous meeting, these are our draw toolbar, modification toolbar, annotation, layers, blocks, properties, and your quick access toolbar. So this one also is the same as the quick access toolbar. So you just from here you can see the open, new, save, save, and then also for the import, export, publish, print. So these are all of the commands there in the the toolbar. So also another way in executing AutoCAD commands is of course your icon. So you can just click any icon that you are to use for the commands that you are needed in drawing your AutoCAD. And then of course that the by the use of the keyboard, okay? So once the command is given, it will be prompted on the next steps or required input data, and you can just press enter, the key enter, you key, the enter key, sorry, to accept the inputs. So when the commands prompts are completed, the command can be terminated by pressing the enter key, or you can use spacebar or the escape button, or in your mouse the right button. So for beginners, you need to know also the command prompt in the Windows because it always show what are the step-by-step procedure to properly execute the commands that you are using. Okay, so uh, for all those we have done, no, so um, as a first time user of the AutoCAD, so like I told you, um, for if you wanted to help, you can just press F1. Okay, so a dialog box will open for help. So from here, you can check all of those things that you are unsure of. For any questions that you are that they are bugging in your mind, so you can just press F1. So for F2, you can also use F2 when you are toggling the text windows or the history command, no? So you can just press F2 so you can check all the history of the command history, no? So you can see here what are your previous commands, no? And for F3, you can just toggle the object snap, no? It's off and on. So the snapping tool, this it checks your endpoint, your midpoint, center, geometric center nodes. These are your snapping points, no? So you press F3 to activate the snapping tool. So for F4 is just for the 3D, no? 3D object snap, no? So currently we will not be using this because we are on under the 2D interface of the AutoCAD, no? So F5 is for isoplane. So also when we are doing isometric drawings, we are used to use F5. Okay, so for F6, sorry, for F6 it toggles the dynamic user for coordinate system. So it turn on and off your UCS for that command, no? So for F7 it gives the command in hiding the grid. So it turns on and off the grid. So that is F7. So for F8 it locks the cursor movement, no? For horizontal and vertical, and it sets as an ortho mode. Okay, so the lines are all vertical, horizontal only without any angle. No, okay, so it restricts the movement of uh of the line also. So F9 it restricts the cursor movement to specified grid intervals. No, so we the limits. No. Okay, so for F10, it turns on or off the polar tracking or the guide's cursor, no, for specified angles. Okay, so F11 would be your snap tracking. So it turns on or off, and also it tracks the cursor horizontally and vertically for the location. And also the last one, F12, would be the dynamic input. Okay, so when you click, for example, the line, so F12 activates or deactivates the dynamic input. So yes, so this is on, the dynamic input is on if you press F12. Okay, so these are some of the few um, uh, the shortcut commands for the F keys. No? Okay, so as we discussed on previously, so we've done with coordinates. So coordinates are, we have the three coordinates. When you prompt coordinate system to specify a point location in a command prompt. So the correct format for coordinate must be given. So there are three types of coordinate system. So we have the absolute coordinates, which x and y coordinates with reference to the 0, 0. So the other type is the relative coordinates, which x and y components or coordinates with reference to the previous point. So the format would be at sign x comma y. So for absolute, you just directly input the x comma and y. Okay, so for the polar coordinates, it's the distance and angle with reference to the previous point. So the format is at sign, then the distance, then the less than sign, and the angle that is needed. Okay, so I'll have an example. So we will be using first the absolute coordinate. So we'll press the line command, or you can just enter L, enter. Okay, so it specifies the first point. So our first point from the origin, 0, comma 0, enter. Then after that, okay, sorry, L, enter, 0, comma 0. Okay, so the reference point is at the origin. So if you are not in the origin, you can use the panning like what I've discussed. So panning to left, from left to right, left to right. Then you can until you see the reference point or the green and the red line. So, or you can just zoom in, zoom out your mouse cursor so you can see the reference point. Okay, so the next point we'll use 0, 6. Okay, 0, comma 6. As you can see from the command bar, it says specify the next point. So our next point is at the 0, 6, excuse me, 0, 6, 0, 6 x and y axis component. Okay, so that is your next point. So next would be 1, 7. So in order for us to go to the next point of 1, 7, so we need to add 1 up and 1 to the right. So in order for us to go to the next point. So for that, we will be having 1, comma 1. Enter. So that is our third point. Then after that, we'll have the next point is um 7, 7. So in order for us to go to 7, 7, so you are currently at 1, 7. So the x-axis, in order to go to the 7, you just deduct 7 minus 1, and then your y would be 7 at the same time. So 7 at the same po point, no? So 7 same horizontal, sorry, vertical. So you don't need to put any value to the y-axis, so it will be 0. So your command would be 6, comma 0. Then after that, the next point is 7, 0. So in order for us to go to the 7, 0 coordinates, you need to deduct um, the y-axis. So that you are at the currently at the 7 uh, x-axis, so you don't need to do anything. So that would be 0, comma, negative 7. 0, sorry. 0, comma 7. Sorry, 0. So your 0, comma 7. Okay. Negative 7. Supposed to be negative 7, sorry. Okay. So the next one is 0, comma, negative 7. Okay. Then that would be your next point, and then just will go to 0, 0. 0, comma 0. So that is your absolute coordinates, no? So now we will use the other with the same coordinate system. So we'll just use the other coordinates or the types of coordinates format. So that would be relative. So for the relative coordinates, the format would be the shift to or the at sign. So we will be using the same uh points, no? So again, we go to our reference point at 0, 0. So you can click the line here and you can just enter L, enter. Then you can check, so you can see the line command. Then the specify the first point, it's at 0, comma 0, enter. Then after that, in our coordinate system, in relative coordinates, we will be using the format at sign. So the next sign is the next point is at 0, 6, right? So you can just put the shift at and then x 0, 6, so no need to do anything with the x-axis. So we'll remain at the 0 axis, x-axis, so 0, comma. But for the y-axis, there's a value already of 6. So just click or enter 6. Okay. So shift. So the next point is a shift at 0, comma. Okay, so that is our first point, second point. Then at 1, 7. So in order for us to get to 1, 1, 7 is to add at 1 in the x-axis and 1 in the y-axis. So for the command would be shift at 1, comma 1. Enter. So that is our third point. Then the fourth point is 7, 7. So you're currently at 1, 7. In order for you to go to the 7, 7, so you need to add 6 for the x-axis. For the y-axis, you are still at the same 7 value, so you don't need to do anything. So you can just add only for the x-axis and then you will remain at the same value for the y-axis. So shift at, then 6, then comma 0, because you don't need to go up or down for the y-axis. So that would be your input, then that would be your value. Then the next one would be, sorry, so this one. Okay, so that one, the next point would be 7, 7. So in order for you to go there, to go at the 0, 7, 0 coordinates, you need to go down from the vertical axis. So you need to deduct. And for the x-axis, it will be remain, so it will be 0. So shift at 0, comma, negative 7. Then that is your rectangular coordinates. Okay? So the next one, we will have the polar coordinates. So polar coordinates, the format is the shift to or the at sign, the distance, and then the angle. So like what I've told you last time, so our reference would be always from here to here. So from here to here, the angle will be 0. So from here going up to the green, would the green line is 90 degrees, and from the center to the left side would be 180 degrees, and then from the origin to the down side of the reference line would be 270. Okay. Okay, so now at 0, 6. So 0, 6 lies in this line. So that would be, so your angle would be 90 degrees. So, so your next point would be shift at, so the distance is 6. So just uh, enter 6 value at the less than sign 90. Okay, so that is your axis. Okay, so the next line, the point is at 1, 1. So 1, 7, sorry. So in order for you to get that, you need to have like what we've done last meeting. So we've done the Pythagorean theorem in order to get the distance from here to the next point, which is 1, 7. So that would be 1.41, and then the angle would be at 45 degrees. Okay, so shift at 1.41, angle of 45. Okay, so then the next one would be at 7, 7. So the distance from 1, 7 to 7, 7 is 6, and then the angle will be at 0 because you don't like what I told you, the reference to which goes to the right would be 0. Okay, so shift add, so 6, the distance is 6, less than 0. Then to go down, that would be going down, the angle would be what? That would be 270 degrees. Okay, then after that, the distance from 7, 7 to 7, 0 would be 7. So the distance would be 7. So shift at 7, less than sign, 270. Okay, so that is your polar coordinate format. Okay, so and the other usage of the line command would be anywhere from the workstation, as long as there's no reference point needed, you can create the line command anywhere in your workspace. Okay, so we are using the coordinate system if there is a certain reference point needed uh, from the problem that is given to you. Okay, if there's no reference point, you can just create any line in the workspace. Okay, so that is the line command. So line command, you can just any click anywhere there. So that is the line command. Okay, okay. So the next command would be the polyline. So polyline and line. So polyline, when you say polyline, is multiple lines connected, no, from other point to another point. So the same reference point we've done. Okay, so I'll do again the reference point at 0, 0. Okay, then we have 0, 6, so 0, comma 6. Okay, 0, comma 6, and then we'll go to the next point, which is 1, 7, which is 1, 1. Okay, then after that, 7, 7, so that would be 6, comma 0. Then 0, comma negative 7. Then from here, take enter. Okay. So you can, as this is a polyline, so I show you the difference between a polyline and the line. So I'll just create this one, this one. It would be the same. I'll just do at least a replica for this one, just to show you the difference. Okay. So the difference between the polyline is that when you click a polyline, all of the images, even though you have different point, it is selected as a whole. In contrast with the line command, when you just click one line or one side, it will just select the side with a boundary. You see? So you cannot just anyhow click. Okay? So that is the difference between a polyline. Okay? Next, we have the circle. So the circle, you can create a circle with this different usage. We have the center radius, we have the center diameter, we have the 2 point, the 3 point, the tan radius, and the tan. Okay, so usually we use the center radius or center diameter. So the difference is that when you click circle, you can click from here or you can just type C, enter. So that is the keyboard command. The keyboard shortcut command is that you can press C and then uh, we can also the same as the coordinate. We can use uh, relative, absolute, or polar. So we can use this specify the point of circle. So we can just go to the origin, which is 0, comma 0, and then it will show you. It will ask you what is the radius. Okay, so you just put, for example, 40. Okay, so now we can see. Yeah, now we have a circle at the origin 0, comma 0. Okay, so that is how you create a circle with using a radius. So you can use center diameter. So you can have the center at the origin. And for example, 40 again, the diameter is 40. See the difference? This is a diameter and this is a radius. Okay. So another one is that 2 point. You have the 2 point, no? So you have, for example, here, and then the other one there. So that is a 2 point circle. So the 3 point circle is you have the 3 point circle. So that you have here 1, 2, 3. So that is a 3 point circle. Okay. And you have the tangent radius. 1. Then the radius is, for example, 30. So for example, you have that. Okay, so you have, for example, you have a circle here, and you have a circle here. Okay, so when you use the tan radius, tangent here, tangent there, and then, for example, you have a 60 radius. See? So that is at when how you use the tan radius. So the tan would be 3 tangent or any tangent in for example in a line or any polygon, no? So you use tan. So you have this tan tan tan. So that is how you use tan radius for circle. Tangent, tangent, tangent. So that is the commands for circle. So the next is arc. So you have use when you use it, you use it for 3 points. You have start, center, end, start, center, angle, start, center, length, and start, center, and start and angle. So you have to do this. For example, you have a line. So we have line here to here. So after that, mm, so you have this arc. So for example, we will gonna use start, center, end. So for example, this is your start, this is your center, and this is your end. So that is how arc is. Okay, for example here, now we have here, here, then another one, another line here, and we want to put an arc from here to here. So you can just use start, center, end. So start, for example, this is your center, and this is your end. Okay, so you can start from here to here, or you can start from here, down, center, end. So that is how you use start, center, and so on. So you have, if you have angle, if you have the length, you can use and type an input from the command bar. For example, you have start, center, angle. So start, center, and then they will be asking you what is the angle. For example, uh, 100. Then that would be your arc. Okay, and so on to the other usage of the arc. Okay, so another draw tool would be your polygon. So polygon or rectangle. So rectangle would be, of course, the specify the first corner. If you don't have any reference point or that is given, you can just click anywhere, and then you just create or input the width or the dimensions of the rectangle. For example, we have 100 by 250. Okay, so that would be your rectangle. Okay. Next, you also have the polygon. So polygon, when you click the polygon, it will ask you how many sides. So for example, you need hexagon, you just click 6 for hexagon, enter, then specify the center. For example, here, inscribe in a circle. Then, for example, the radius is 100. Then you already have a hexagon. So if you have octagon, it will have different sides. Okay, so for the ellipsis, you have the center radius. So for example, the ellipse, the center is from here. Then, for example, the endpoint of the axis is here, 0. And then the distance to the axis, for example, is around 75. Then you have already have an ellipsis. You can also change it, or uh, you have the center, or you can use the axis or the end, no? So that is for the drawing tool. And for the gradient, you can just, or the hatching, the gradient and the boundary. So the hatch, you can just uh, pick any internal, for example, this one. Then you have the hatch. So you can choose, the hatch has different type. No? You can check from here, double click it. So you have different patterns from here to choose from, you see. So if there will be a specific hatch, you can check from here. Okay. Okay, so all of those are the commands for drawing command, no? So for the next topics, we will be doing the modify toolbar. Okay? Okay, so that would be all for for this topic. See you. Thank you.